Ji?
Recording first, Prabhu. 1 second.
Okay. Narayanam namaskritya
Narayanam namaskritya
Ram Chaiva Narottamam
Chaiva
Narottanam
Devim Saraswati Vyasam
Devim
Devim
Saraswati
Saraswati
Vyasam
Vyasam
Tato Jayam Udirayat
Tato Jayam Mudirayam
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Prabheshu
Vishupateshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
Bhaktiri Bhavati Nayistiki
Bhakti Bhavani Istaki
Ishvara Parama Krishna
Ishvara Parama Krishna
Sachidananda Vigraha
Sachidananda Vigraha
Anadiradir Govinda
Anandira Govinda
Sarvakarana Karanam
Sarvakarana Karanam
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nandagopakumaraya
Gopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna. So we go through the Vaishnava Acharya prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya
Om
Jnananjanashalakaya
Jnana
Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha
Tasmai Shri Gurave
Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam
Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam
Sapitam Yena Bhutale
Tapitam Yena Bhutale
Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam
Vayam Rupam Yam
Dati Swapadantikam
Dihati Shabdatikam
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam
Sri
Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha
Sri Gurum Vaishnavacha
Sri Rupam
Sri Rupam
Sagrajatam
Sagrajtam
Sahagana Raghunathanvitam
Sahagana
Tam
Raghunatam
Sajivam
Tam Sajivam
Advaitam
Advaitam
ये जो
Avadutam
कचरा है ना, ये
Advaitam
फेंक दोगे क्या?
Parijana
प्याज का छिलके,
Sahitam
चाकू।
Parijana Sahitam
Krishna Chaitanya Devam
Krishna Chaitanya Devam
Sri Radha Krishna Padan
Sri Radha Krishna Padam
Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha
Sahagana
He Krishna Karuna Sindhu.
Hare Krishna Karuna
You have
Sindhu
to put up a screen up. Dinabandho Jagatpate
Dinabandhu Jagatpate
Gopesha Gopika Kanta
Gopesha Gopika Kanta
Radha Kanta Namostute
Radha Kanta Namostate
Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi
Tapta Kancha Gaurangi
Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Radhe Vrindavaneshwari
Vrishabhanusute Devi
Vrisabhanustute Devi
Pranamami Hari Priye
Pranamami Hari Priye
Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha
Vanchakalpatarupasya
Sindhubhya Evacha
Kripa Sindhu Bhavevacha
Utitanam Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha
Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Shri Krishna Chaitanya
O Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Sri Advaita Gadadara
Shri Advaita Gadadhara
Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Rama Rama,
Hare
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 Hare.
Hare Krishna dear devotees.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you for all joining today. And I'll try to finish little early today by 5:50. I have to travel for the class somewhere far. So just for today. So last week we have summarized some of the points on 6:20 to 23. So today we'll deal with the whole purport and see what Prabhupada is explaining on these shlokas. Okay? Recite after me. Yatro paramate chittam
Yatra paramate chittam
niruddham yoga sevaya
niruddham yoga sevaya
yatra chaivatmanatmanam
yatra chayatmanatmanam
pashyan atmani tushyati.
pasyanatmani
I
tushyati.
request all of you unmute and recite the shloka, then later you can mute it. Okay? Yam labdva chaparam labam
Yam labdha cha param labham
manyate nadikam tata
Manyate Nadikam Tata
yasmin sthito na dukkena
yasmin
Yasmin
sthito na
Stito
dukkhena
Dukkena
gurunapi vichalyate
gurunapi
Gurunapi
vichalyate
Vichalyate
tam vidya dukkha samyoga
Samvidya
Samvidya dukkha
Samyoga
vi-
samyoga
viyogam yoga samyitam.
Viyogam yoga
Samhitam
Here,
samhitam.
translation for Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Okay. In the stage of perfection called trance
In the stage of perfection called trance
or samadhi,
or samadhi,
one's mind is completely restrained from material activities by practice of yoga.
One's
one's
mind
mind
is
is completely restricted from mental activities by practice of yoga.
This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self.
This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish
Okay. In that joyous state,
In that joyless
in the
in the
joyous
joyous
state.
state.
one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness.
one is
One is
Situated in
situated in
boundless
boundless
transcendental
transcendental
happiness.
happiness,
Realized through transcendental senses.
realized
realized through
Through
transcendental senses,
Established thus,
established thus,
one never depart from the truth.
one
never
never departs
departs
from
from the
the
truth.
truth.
And upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain.
And
Upon gaining this, he thinks
upon
there is
gaining
no
this,
greater gain.
there is no
Being situated in such a position,
being
Situated
situated
in
in
such
such a
a position,
position
one is never shaken,
one
is
is
never
never
shaken.
shaken.
even in the midst of greatest difficulty.
In the
In the
midst
midst of
of
greatest
great
difficulty.
difficulty.
This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact.
This
This indeed is actual freedom
from
from
all
all
miseries
miseries
arising
arising from material contact.
See, actually, when I read, right, if you look at here, established thus, that means in the devotional service to Krishna, one never departs from the truth, okay? And upon gaining, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the greatest difficulty. Look at that, how beautifully Prabhupada writing the translation of these slokas. We all go through so many difficulties in the life, right? Nobody is happy, nobody is without problems. We all have problems. Rich, poor, doesn't matter. Right? But some of us go through severe problems in the life. And last Bhakti Raksha class, we're talking about karma, how karma plays a role, right? Nikhil Prabhu, yeah. So how karma plays a
Yep.
role, right, Nikhil?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how, and when we have that knowledge and we have faith in Krishna, we never shaken in our lives. We never shaken in life because Krishna is with me and it's happening because of the reason. Once you know the reason why it's happening, you'll be happy that, okay, I did something wrong, whatever it is, and I'm going through that. Let my bad time go through. Okay? And that's what Prabhupada never shaken in our lives. No, they are temporary. Okay, let's read the purport. We'll see. Okay, this somebody can probably ask someone to read whole paragraph. I'll summarize it.
Okay. Naveen Prabhu, can you read, Prabhu?
Okay, Prabhuji. Papo pe Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
By practice of yoga, one becomes gradually detached from material concepts. This is the primary characteristic of the yoga principle. And after this, one becomes situated in trance or samadhi, which means that the yogi realizes the super soul through transcendental mind and intelligence, without any of the misgivings of identifying the self with the super self. Yoga practice is more or less based on the principles of the Patanjali system. Some unauthorized commentators try to identify the individual soul with the super soul, and the monists think this to be liberation, but they do not understand the real purpose of Patanjali system of yoga. There is an acceptance transcendental pleasure in the Patanjali system, but the monists do not accept this transcendental pleasure out of fear of jeopardizing the theory of oneness. The duality of knowledge and knower is not accepted by the non-dualist, but in this verse, transcendental pleasure, realized through transcendental senses, is accepted. And this is corroborated by Patanjali Muni, the famous exponent of the yoga system. The great sage declares in his Yoga Sutras 4.33, Pusartha Sunyanam Guranam Prati Prasava Kaivalyam Saurupa Pratishta Vasiti Saktir Iti.
The Prabhupada beautifully writing here the yoga system and how the oneness, monist, that is Mayavadis, think differently from the devotees. And what is the real yoga system is explaining here, right? By practice of yoga, one becomes gradually detached from material concepts. And am I audible, dear devotees?
Very clear, Prabhu.
Yeah. So yoga, the definition of yoga is linking with the Supreme Lord. That's the definition of yoga. Linking a individual conscious soul with the super soul Krishna. That linkage is called yoga. Because that yoga has been broken for many lifetimes. Because that link is broken, we are suffering here. I think I explained several times. This is the primary characteristics of yoga principle. One becomes elevated from the detached from the material concepts. The moment we start attaching the supreme, and our material attachment slowly fades away. Okay, and after this, one becomes situated in trance or samadhi, which means the yogi realizes the super soul through the transcendental mind intelligence without any misgivings of identifying the self with the super self. Look at this beautiful sentence here. So once we go through this process of linking Supreme Lord, what happens is that we realize that the realizing the super soul through the transcendental mind and intelligence. What does it mean? That means the moment we link our consciousness with the supreme consciousness, Krishna, right? Then we, with what? With mind, intelligence, all these things, what we have, which is abstract, we cannot see them. When that is connected to Krishna. And what happens when that's misgivings? And so at that point, we know who is self, who is super self. And also misgivings identifying self. As Mayavadi says, I am Brahmasmi, I am also God, Krishna is also God. We are equal. That conception is totally eradicated completely. No, Supreme Soul Krishna, I am the part and parcel of him. So when that knowledge is established within us, right, without any of the misgivings of identifying self with super self, that is a great mistake, identifying ourselves with the God. That misgivings are gone once we realize the super soul through the transcendental mind and intelligence. So our mind and intelligence has to be engaged properly to understand who is Krishna, who is I, and what is the relationship between both of us. Yoga principle is more or less based on the principle of Patanjali system. This Patanjali yoga system, what we practice is basically that God and living entities are different. Qualitatively, they are different, but quantitatively they are different, but qualitatively they are same. Right? The Atma, the real you, who you are, the soul sitting near heart, the soul, who you are. See, that soul is making me to talk. The soul is making to move my hand. The soul is making me to see through my eyes. Why? Because the soul is the real who you are, not this body. This body is the outer coverings, I explained, right? Now we are in the human form of the body, then we'll the bird, we are in the cat body and dog's body, elephant body, etc. Outer covering we are changing, but internally the soul is the same. Only it's transmigrating from one soul to one body to other body, same soul. Until that soul is released from all these outer coverings, until we reclaim our lost relationship with Krishna in the spiritual world, we all have an identity in the spiritual creation world. Who you are, I am so and so in the spiritual creation. That is our real identity. We have forgotten that real identity because of our mind and senses are not properly engaged. We keep on misidentifying ourselves. I could be this, I could be that, I could be human being, I could be this, I could be that. We keep on, I am a father, I am a mother, I am a son, I am this, and we're misidentifying with so many layers of the coverings, but none of these coverings are permanent. None of these coverings are permanent. Our permanent covering is basically, I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord. And that relationship, yoga, that has been completely broken. That's why we are become confused because that link is broken. Then we don't know who you are. I'm looking, oh, I could be this one. 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 Total chaos here. Total confusion we have. Unless that is established, Prabhupada explaining beautifully here, yeah, without any misgivings, identifying the self with the super self. Yoga practice is more or less based on the principles of Patanjali system. Look at it, some unauthorized commentary try to identify the individual soul with the super soul. Look at that. That is very problematic. Soul is soul, super soul is soul. Krishna is Krishna, and we are individuals. Okay, but some unauthorized commentary, that is basically Mayavadis, who doesn't believe the existence of the Supreme Lord. They think God is only a light, Brahma Jyoti. They, individual with soul, super soul, they think soul and super soul are same, which is not correct. Super soul is Brahma, Param Brahma. Anu, Vibhu. Krishna is Vibhu, we are Anu. We are very small, minute particle of Krishna. We have assumed that we have big fire. From the big fire, all the sparkles come. So this big fire is Krishna. All the tiny particles come out, small one, right? In the fire, those are individual souls. We cannot take smallest, tiniest sparkle and burn the house. No, we cannot do anything. But this big fire can burn the whole house. Same way, Krishna is a big fire. He can do anything. But we are the tiniest particles coming out of that. We are limited capacity, limited lifetime, limited resources, limited knowledge, etc. But big fire has lot of. That's a comparison, okay? And the monists, then they think they become one with the Supreme Lord. They think that is the liberation, which is not a right thing. But they do not understand the real purpose of Patanjali Yoga system. There is a acceptance of transcendental pleasure in the Patanjali system, but monists do not accept this transcendental pleasure out of fear of jeoparding their oneness. They don't accept this Dvaita philosophy, Vaishnava Acharyas. Why? Because their theory of monoism will be defeated. They don't want to accept that fact. They don't want to accept the truth. First of all, they don't know the truth. Even they know the truth, they don't want to accept it. No, God and I am one. We are one. No, that's not true. God and we are different. He is a Bhagavan. We are just a living entity. They don't differentiate that one. That's why they try to reject that philosophy. The duality of knowledge and knower is not accepted by the non-dualist. Look at that. The duality of knowledge and knower is not accepted. That means Krishna is gives knowledge, we take the knowledge from Krishna. They don't accept that one. By non-dualist. They don't have non-dualist, they are only uniqueness. God and I are one. But Vaishnavas, we are dualist. Hey, Krishna and me, they are duality. So what we're trying to do, that we're trying to establish that lost relationship with Krishna. That's called Sambandha Jnana. Sambandha. For example, we have children, you have a father, you have a mother. That's a relationship. Same way, our Supreme Father is Krishna. That relation has been broken for so many lifetimes. But that has to be established. But in this was transcendental pleasure, raised through transcendental sense is accepted. In this, Krishna, why it is saying, realized through transcendental pleasure through transcendental senses. What does it mean? That means that we have all the material senses. The material senses can be converted into transcendental senses. How? By Krishna Bhakti, by involving Krishna. Right? So everything, for example, how you convert matter into spirit. The matter can be converted to spirit by including Krishna. For example, you see that when we offer prasadam, right? If I were coming with Krishna, we offer prasadam. After cooking, we put in the plate, we take the tulasi, put in front of Krishna. So the moment we offer those offerings to Krishna, and you may ask question, is Krishna taking this food? Can we see? Let me see Krishna is eating food. Okay? Krishna eats the whatever we offer. We cannot see with our eyes because our senses are very imperfect. Without our imperfect nature, we cannot see Krishna taking prasadam. Right? Because our senses are so blunt. Our senses are so, that's why we cannot able to perceive Supreme Lord through our material senses. But as soon as you convert this material sense into spirituality, now here Krishna Katha, okay, hearing, chanting Krishna's glories, and devotees can feel that when you offer prasadam to Krishna and take from him, the taste of the prasadam changes. And you might have seen everyone, when you go to temple, the prasadam is so tasty. Why? Because the moment you offer prasadam to Krishna, he eats the prasadam. He takes the prasadam. And Krishna doesn't have to eat with like your hand, my hand, this one. Krishna, by glancing, by seeing prasadam, he eats with his eyes. Krishna is spiritual, body is spiritual. Spiritual means there's no difference between legs, hands, eyes, mouth, nose. Any part of the body can function in any other function of the body. Krishna can eat with his eyes. So that transcendental vision has to be developed, that I'm offering prasadam to Krishna, is eating that prasadam. When you take remnants from that prasadam, that basically how we are converting that matter into spirit. Prabhupada beautiful writing here that, right? But in this transcendental pleasure, related to transcendental senses is accepted. And this is corroborated, means confirmed by Patanjali Muni, the famous exponent of yoga system. The great sage declares in Yoga Sutras, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, he explains, Purushartha Shunyanam Gunanam Prati Prakshava Kaivalyam Sarupaya Pratishta Vachit Shaktiriti. So the meaning is, I don't know, I'm just assuming that this basically, that Purushada Shunyata Gunana Pratishta Kaivalyam Sarupaya Pratishta, which is basically Supreme Lord has, and living entities are different, and we can achieve his mercy through the transcendental senses by developing taste for his association, that is through yoga system. Okay, let's probably, can somebody read the second paragraph?
Yeah, probably one quick thing. Let me go back. Just to put a context, right? Because this is a very broader verse. So I'm just trying to put a context here. So 619, basically in Jnana Yoga, we have two kinds of transcendentalists, right? One yoga ruksha stage and yoga ruda stage, beginner stage and end stage, right? So this 619, basically the transcendental yoga ruda stage, he has come on in samadhi stage, right? And now this 620 to 23 are discussing all what is the experience when it comes in samadhi, right, Prabhu?
Absolutely.
That's what we're talking about.
Complete trance.
Right? When in samadhi stage. And Prabhu, this transcendental senses, does it mean that, see, we have material senses, right?
Right.
Eyes, breathing, nose, seeing, these are all material senses, gross senses.
Right.
But when you say transcendental senses, it means the soul has got some senses, right? And then that senses he's experiencing and he's feeling blissfulness, something like that, Prabhu.
So see, don't overthink about that one. For example, we are in the, see, soul is that we are in the human form of the body, right?
Correct.
So in the human form of the body, we have senses, thinking, willing, tasting, all these we have senses are there. So if these senses are engaged in the material activity, they are just looking at the material. But the moment we engage these senses for the Krishna, for example, we are hearing now our hearing sense. If you are hearing some nice Hindi songs from some movie, what happens? Your mind, your thinking goes on those pleasureful activities, etc., etc. So you are engaging in the material vibrations, material way. Okay, that has some reactions as well, right? But same hearing sound, when we engage for the Krishna, we are now discussing about Prabhupada's beautiful purport about Krishna. So what we are doing, that we are engaging our senses for the spirituality, they'll become automatically spiritual.
God. Okay.
That's the beauty of it. That's what we don't need a much effort to make our material senses spiritual senses. By involving Krishna, everything automatically becomes a spiritual. At that time, that's why, for example, our spiritual masters, when they leave bodies, their bodies are spiritual. And whatever flowers put on their bodies also spiritual. For example, if you go to Mayapur, we have Pushpa Samadhi of Prabhupada. In Vrindavan is physical samadhi. Pushpa samadhi is equivalent to Prabhupada because any items put on the spiritual master's body also spiritual. In the same way, as we progress in Krishna consciousness, and what we do is everything in aligned to Krishna. Everything. And we don't have any private life. Oh, I'll do this. This is my material life, the spiritual. Everything is a spiritual life. And everything, our home becomes spirituality. And our house becomes Vaikunta.
Got it, Prabhu. Got it.
So that's the whole, it's called in English paradigm shift. Whole paradigm shift is like our complete understanding about this material life completely goes away. And that's why you might have seen that I say always that shloka, either devotee exists in the material world, spiritual doesn't matter for him. Why? Everything is spiritual for him.
Correct.
The material world also becomes spiritual. Though we say, it's a material world, for me, it's not a material anymore. It is my home. It is my home. I have deities. I offer prasadam to Krishna and I chant his glories. I talk about his Krishna. That is, if you go to Vaikuntha, what you do the same thing. So there's nothing like material life for me, it's a spiritual life. Does it make any sense, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Prabhu, very clear.
That's how it is probably explained. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Can you ask someone to actually read this second paragraph?
Puja Mata, you can read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Jai.
Jai.
This Sthiti Sakti or internal potency is transcendental. Purushartha means material religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and at the end, the attempt to become one with the Supreme. This oneness with the Supreme is called Kevalam.
Kaivalyam.
Kaivalyam.
Kaivalyam by the monist. But according to Patanjali, this Kaivalyam is an internal or transcendental potency by which the living entity become aware of his constitutional position. In the words of Lord Chaitanya, this state of affair is called Sthito Darpana
So Darpana Marjanam.
Sthitodarpana Marjanam, or clearance to the impure mirror of the mind. The clearance is actually liberation, or Bhava Maha
Bhavavaha
Davagni Nirvapana.
Davagani Nirvapanam. The theory of nirvana also preliminary corresponds with the principle in the Bhagavad Gita 2.10. Bhagavatam 2.10.6. This is called Swarupena Vyavasthita. The Bhagavad Gita also confirms this situation in this verse.
Yes, absolutely. So the Chit Shakti, or a fundamental potency, is transcendental. Okay. Then I want to just give 2 minutes here. What is Chit means? Chit potency. So Krishna is, we read the sloka, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sat Chit
Sachidananda.
Ananda Vigraha. What does it mean? Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. That means that explaining the body of Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna means this Krishna is Parama. There is no ultimate superior than Krishna. Satchidananda Vigraha. The Vigraha confirms that he is not a light. He is a person. Vigraha means body of Krishna, made of Sat, Chit, Ananda. 3 elements. Sat means
Eternal.
Chit means all knowledgeable. Sat, Chit, Ananda means fully blissful. Okay. And different sampradayas talk about Sat potency, sampradayas talk about Chit potency. But only Gaudiya Vaishnava and Vaishnavism talks about the Ananda potency. Because Prabhupada explained that as the love of God. We never heard this love of God since our childhood. We are always did business with the demigods. But coming here, this Chit potency, Sat, Chit, or internal potency is transcendental. That means that is beyond this material world. That's the pure knowledge. Sat. Sat means eternal. Chit means knowledge. This knowledge. Purushartha means, again, here look at the difference between Chit potency and Purushartha. Purushartha means, people in India say, you have to study up to certain age, then you get married, then you have children, then you make the children happy, children education, children get married, you are done. Yeah, that is correct. In a material way, that is perfect way. But what does that lead to? Purushartha means material religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and the attempt to become one with the Supreme. At the end, what is that? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. We say that Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma means to do your duty as a father, as a mother. Dharma, Artha, right? You get some benefits, money, Kama, you enjoy that, and you get liberated. That is a false liberation. You don't liberate it, you only change your body at that point. But as soon as that is connected to Krishna, this Purushartha, which is religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, when you involve in Krishna, that becomes a permanent liberation. Look at the beauty here. The material liberation, what we think, we have been told, is a material liberation, that we change the body, one body to other body. And if you do those dharmas, you may get some pious benefits, nothing wrong in that. But that's not the ultimate. The ultimate is spirituality. Spiritually, we have to develop. Spiritually, we have to engage our economic development. Yeah, we have money used for the service of Krishna, used for the development of Krishna consciousness. Sense gratification. We have senses. Use senses for the satisfying the Krishna senses. And end up done what happens is we establish our lost relationship with Krishna, that Sambandha Jnana. This oneness with the Supreme is called Kaivalyam by the monists. But what other people think within the materialistic way, in the Mayavadis, they think that is a real liberation. But according to Patanjali, Kaivalyam is an internal or transcendental potency by which living entity becomes aware of his that is the real, the living entity. See, what we are trying to do, we are trying to do who we are. Because who we are, that is a question mark for us. We all have lost our relationship with our Supreme Father. We don't know who you are. We're trying to find who I am first. You say, I am a Mr. Joshi. I am Mr. Jatin. I am Mr. Naveen. I am Mr. Nikhil. Yeah, that is in this body. You are Nikhil or you are Jatin. But once we leave this body, who are you? That body is gone. Then you will be Mr. Bird. I'm Mr. Cat. I'm Mr. Pig. I'm Mr. Elephant. That body is gone. Next, who really you are? That is a big enigma, big puzzlement in our lives. We never thought that deeply as well before. Right? That is had been revealed here by Prabhupada and Guru Parampara and Lord by Lali Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. He tells that you have lost relationship with me. You are my son before, but you forgot me. I'm giving all the roots, all the information, how to reclaim your lost relationship with me and come back to me with whatever relationship you had with me before. Right? That's how it will be taken. So Kaivalya means, Kaivalya means internal transcendency by which living entity becomes aware of his position. When I say constitutional position, here is that you have a unique relationship with Krishna. That we have forgot. In other words, Lord Chaitanya says this state of affairs is called Cheto Darpana Marjanam, or clearance of the impure mirror of the mind. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who introduced the congregational chanting, right? And he's saying that this Kaivalyam, which monists think that is basically that lost relationship with Krishna, then this way how we can reclaim our lost relationship with Krishna by practicing the bhakti. And what happens is this step is called Cheto Darpana Marjanam, trying to establish our relationship with Krishna called Cheto Darpana Marjanam. And Prabhupada gives example, you have a mirror. And the mirror, we have a lot of dust. That dust has to be cleansed. Same way, our mirror is compared with our mind is compared with the mirror. Mirror has a lot of dust in that one. Because of dust, we are not able to see ourselves who we are. When the dust is completely eliminated from our mind, then we know, oh, I am so and so in the spiritual world. This is my real identity. I have been completely away from my real identity. And that has to be, comes to the reality who you are. Okay. Are the impurities mirrors in the mind? We have a lot of impurities. This clearance is called liberation. Once we clear that impurities in our mind, then we know I am so and so. This is my relationship with Krishna, etc., etc. Then you try to acquire your, gain back your real identity, who you are. That knowing the real identity who you are with Krishna is called liberation. This clearance is called liberation. Or Bhava Mahadavagne Nirvanam. This is the first line in the Chetudarpana Marjanam. Bhava Mahadavagne Nirvanam. That has to be completely removed. And then we know our real identity. The theory of nirvana means final liberation or preliminary corresponds to with this principle. If you go to Buddhist, they are nirvana. What does nirvana means? Final attainment, who I am. That is nirvana. That is our final. Once we get our lost relationship with Krishna, once we are situated in our spiritual identity or our real identity with Krishna, we are done forever. We reclaimed our position. We went to our actual position where in the spiritual world where we belong to our home originally, where we came from, you're completely satisfied. Completely satisfied. Why? I am situated in my constitutional position to Krishna, being the servant of the servant of the servant. I am done with it. Okay. Probably, I think probably we can do one more paragraph, then probably we can do next week also. Okay, this is a very long purport. Yeah. Can someone read this, Prabhuji?
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Ashish Prabhu, you want to read, Prabhu? Ashish Prabhu. If Ashish Prabhu,
Nikhil Prabhu or
Nikhil, Ashish, anybody?
I can read it.
Yeah, go ahead, Prabhu.
After nirvana or material sensations,
Situation.
cessation.
there is the manifestation of spiritual activity or devotional service to the Lord, known as Krishna consciousness. In the words of
Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam, Svarupana Vyas
Sarupena Vyavasa
Sarupena Vishantina
Sarupena Vyavastitaha.
Vyavastitaha. This is the real life of the living entity. Maya or illusion is the condition of spiritual life, contaminated by material infection. Liberation from this material infection does not mean destruction of the original eternal position of the living entity. Patanjali also accepts this by his word Kevalyam.
Kaivalyam.
Kevalyam Swarupa Prastistha
Pratishtha.
Va Cha Sti Saktir Iti. This this city Sakti or transcendental pleasure is real life. This is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra 1.1.12 as Ananda Mayo Bhashyata. This natural transcendental pleasure is
Pleasure is the ultimate goal of yoga.
I think he might be lost connection and easily achieved by execution of devotional service or Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga will be vividly described in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So, here, after nirvana or material cessation, there is the manifestation of spiritual activities, right? So, the moment we involve in bhakti, this material sensation after nirvana, after Chetudarpana Marjanam happens, right? Then what happens? Spiritual activities. We all do devotional service to the Lord known as Krishna conscious movement. We accept that. In other words, Bhagavatam says, Swarupena Vasistha. This is the real life of living entity. What is our real life? Dear devotees, this is the real life. What is the real life?
Doing devotional service.
Swarupena Vyavastitaha. Right? This is the real life of living entity. That is, our life is meant for serving Krishna. That is our real life. Now we all think, I have taken a birth, I have to work, I have to feed. Yeah, those are secondary actually. The reason that we came here is that we are envious of Krishna and he put me in this situation. We have to reclaim our lost relationship. That's the main reason. See, Prabhupada writes, the human form of life is meant for self-realization. We cannot self-realize through animalistic bodies, cats, dogs. They cannot realize self-realization. Only self-realization means what? Who I am is the only possible in human form of the life. Why? Because human form of the life we can think, we can inquire, we can ask why I'm suffering, what I should do not to suffer in this world. And what I should do to make my life better. We all have the inquisitiveness to become materially, I want to become a rich so that I don't have to worry for money. When I retire, I want to live a happy life, or I want to become a billionaire, millionaire. We have those desires. But those desires have their material contaminations, right? We want to enjoy ourselves with those, right? In the same way, Prabhupada writing, if you look at the sentence here, right? In the words of Bhagavatam, Sarupena Bhavisthita is the real of Maya or illusion is the conditional condition of spiritual life contaminated by material infection. Look at that. So this is a special case. Special case. What is special case? When they are contaminated with material infection, that is called Maya or illusion. In other words, how to define Maya or illusion? That is, which is not connected to Krishna. Which is not connected to Krishna is Maya. Liberation from liberation from this material infection does not mean destruction of original eternal position of the living entity. Look at it, different from material. So, liberation from material infection means, oh, I am not a rich, I am a poor, right? Liberation from this material infection, one second, let me read that. Does not mean destruction of the eternal position of light. When I don't have money, I cannot become a devotee. When I don't have this one, I cannot become a devotee. That is not the condition. Material conditions are nowhere near to spiritual identity. If you want to become a spiritually identified, you don't have to be a rich. You don't have to be a filthy rich. You don't have to be a brahmana. You don't have to be a higher caste. You don't have to be anything. You should have just a desire in the heart of you. Krishna, I wanted to connect you. I want to know who I am. That is a real kaivalyam, their identity of human. We have to try for that one. Otherwise, we are living in the Maya. Maya means what? Changing bodies, one body, other body, other body, other body, other body. We have changed millions of bodies in the previous lifetimes. Now we are a human form of the life. Only this form, human forms comes after many, many, many lifetimes. There is sloka in Bhagavad Gita. Bahunam janmana amante jnanavan mam prapajyate vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. After taking many times, we get this chance of human beings. We have all the senses working. We can talk, we can see, we can hear, we can walk, we can eat. Why don't you serve Krishna? With these perfect senses, why don't we realize who I am? We don't have any diseases, luckily by God's grace. We are all healthy. Why don't you use this chance to understand where I came from? Maybe you're not able to finish your job in this lifetime, but that's okay. Start self-inquiry now without any delay. Don't postpone things. Does make any sense, dear devotees? I'll stop here. Any questions? Or anybody would like to add any points? Because I know
You covered this point of the Bhakti Yoga regarding?
Yeah, sorry. Okay, let's finish that one. Okay, so
this Chitta Shakti or transcendental pleasure is real life.
right. Liberation, Maya. So, liberation from this material infection does not mean destruction of original internal position of the living entity. Liberation from this. So, that's what I liberation. If you liberation of the material activities, when you are not a rich, or when you are liberated from those things, then what the original position of living so that doesn't mean that we are going away from the spirituality. No, it means, oh, that's what I said. If you don't have money, I cannot do bhakti. If I don't have this, no, those material affections doesn't matter. We can still get liberated from this human form of the body. Okay. Patanjali also accepts his words, Kaivalyam Sarupa Pratishta Vachitri Shakti. The Chit Shakti or transcendental pleasure is a real life. That's why we call Anandamaya Abhyasat. We are always, see, why? By nature, we are happy. Spirit soul is always happy because we create so many artificial conditions around us and we become unhappy. By nature, Anandamaya Abhyas. Anandamaya Abhyas. By nature, we are the pleasure seeking. We all try to be happy, right? Nobody tries to be unhappy. We try for the plans to become happiness. But unhappiness comes because our association with the matter is so powerful that it takes away our happiness. The moment you connect to Krishna, Chit Shakti, Sat Chit Ananda, he has three qualities. When you connect to him, and there's no question of any morose in our lives. This natural transcendental pleasure is the ultimate goal of yoga. Ultimate goal of yoga. And is easily achieved by the execution of what?
Devotion.
Execution of what?
Devotional service.
Devotional service. Bhakti.
Bhakti yoga.
Bhakti yoga. Okay. This is how it is. So ultimately, Prabhupada brings to the point that you don't have any material eligibility for the devotion. Remember that. You don't have to be qualified in this person is a millionaire. This is not a millionaires club. Krishna consciousness is not a millionaires club. You don't need any fees. There is no admission fees here. Only admission fees here is your desire to serve Krishna. And that manifests, that gives everything. It's not okay because you are Bill Gates, you are allowed in this. No. The moment you have a desire and start chanting Purisa of Krishna, hear Krishna Katha, all set to go. That's the only qualification we need. Doesn't matter, you don't have what birth you have taken, where are you from, which country you are from. These are all we made it, man-made. You see, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, everybody goes through the same process. Animals, different countries, different animals, everything goes through those. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. It's a common activity. Right? Indians go through the same, Americans go through the same problems. Everybody has their problems. Okay, so these are to be taken very serious. Okay, so I'll stop here. Thank you, dear devotees. I have to rush now.
One quick thing, Prabhu, just I'll quickly check if anybody has quick questions. Prabhu,
Yes.
anybody has quick questions on this first 3 paragraphs?
Again, all of you go home and read this paragraph. Any questions we can discuss next week. This is a huge paragraph. This is one of the big purports, Prabhupada.
Yeah,
Right?
that's what in Samadhi state, right, Prabhu? Describe what you will achieve.
Right.
Transcend the
Absolutely.
pleasure.
Absolutely.
That's what he's experiencing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So, devotee, nobody has questions? 1, 2, 3.
All good,
Hey,
Prabhuji. Thank
Huh?
you. All
Okay.
good, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Oh, Nirmal Prabhu is there. Okay. Correct. I didn't pay attention. Thank you.
He must be multitasking today.
Okay. No problem.
That's why. Sorry, Prabhuji.
Jatin Prabhu, any questions you have?
No questions, Prabhuji, today.
Okay, good, Prabhu. Nikhil Prabhu?
No question. It's a tough subject matter to grasp, I think. So
You have to come to Samadhi, Prabhu, to understand this.
Actually, Nikhil Prabhuji, the
Yeah.
Bhakti models we are going through, that brings to this level. Don't
Yeah.
get
Okay.
bogged.
Yeah.
That's why I started basics like karma, pranta,
Mhm.
science. Anybody, again, information. I have Bhakti runs on Friday from 6 to 8, right, Nikhil Prabhu, starting next week?
Yeah, 6 to
6
8.
to 8. And we taught the basics things. What is karma? Why we are suffering? All these things. So anybody interested in around Edison area, you're welcome to join. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Panchakalpatarubhyascha कृपासिन्धुभ्यः पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
Vrinda ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Prabhupada
jai.
ki jai.
Hare
Prabhu ki jai. Bimal Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.